I'm JD. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe. Please hit like. Please share this with your friends. I'm almost up to 10,000 views. I'm getting into the 9,000 view character very soon. Please subscribe. I'd love to get 10,000 views. I think great things happen. What do I have here? I've got a box, and inside the box is a pocket watch that was delivered to me. So this is one gorgeous pocket watch. So I could call it unboxing, but what I'm going to do is have a quick look at this pocket watch, examine it, and see if there are any issues with this pocket watch. So let's have a look at this pocket watch first and get it outside of this bag here. So no gloves on right now because I don't need them on right now because the pocket watch is not uncased. Not uncased. That's a double negative. So first of all, this is one gorgeous piece of watch here. So have a look at this. So this is terribly nice looking, right? Hamilton Watch Company. It's got a nice crystal on here. This is probably a silver case, but I'll have a look inside to see if that's accurate or not. It actually says Hamilton on the top right there. So this is absolutely a Hamilton case. This case does not unscrew. You can see the small lip right there where you would stick your watch case opener here and pop the case open. And if I look at the back of the case, this is where it gets really nice, really interesting. Look at that. It's got a Salesman case back, which is a display case for the back, and this is another beautiful old crystal. And this Hamilton is a 21 jewel, as you can see that. I'm going to have to turn off my light so I don't blind you. So this is a 21 jewel motor barrel. And it is a gorgeous Hamilton Lancaster watch. And it is adjusted to 5 positions. And it is railroad grade, absolutely railroad grade. It's got a very interesting regulator on here, right there. And I'll see if there's any issues with the regulator. And then you set the timing on the watch, slow in this direction and fast in this direction. And that just adjusts between the regulating pins, the length of the hairspring, the virtual length, I could say. It's the actual length of the hairspring by moving this lever forward. These are gold settings, so they're gold, Jerry. They're gold settings, and that's a motor barrel, which is really cool. So I haven't repaired one of these in a long time. And 21 jewel gold settings, beautiful, beautiful watch. So I'm going to have to crack this thing open and have a look at the movement and see if I've got any issues at all with this hairspring. So beautiful, beautiful watch. I'm not sure if this can be set. It's not lever set, I don't believe, because it's got a snap-on case in the front, right? So if I just pull up on this, I might be able to set the time. Yeah, there we go. So I've just pulled up on the watch and I can't set the time. It looks like this won't set the time. It looks like the mainspring has been fully wound, so there's nothing left on the mainspring. Let me just push that back in, and whether I push it in or not, the time won't set. So I'm just curious how one sets the time on this if this is not a screw down case. Because it doesn't appear to be a screw down case, it appears to be a case that pops open. So I'm going to have to pop that open after, but the back also pops open. It looks like there's a bit of roughness that happened here on the edge when the last owner popped this watch open. It also says Hamilton on the top here, so gorgeous, gorgeous watch. So if I look at this, sometimes my fingernail can do the dirty work here. And then other times it can't. I'm going to get my watch case opener and let's open this watch up. So I've got a watch case opener here that's got quite the grip on it. Now this isn't the best watch case opener I have, but it's a pretty good one. It's got screw down and screwed on the inside. I probably bought this off AliExpress. So what I like to do to open the case here is just get the watch case opener in here, and you wiggle it back and forth a bit to get it wedged in nicely, right? And then you can usually do that, just like I did. And that'll open the watch up. So there we go. That's the crystal from the back. The good thing here is to line this up. There's the words Hamilton in the front, and those go right over the top. So So I want to look first to see if the hairspring is okay and see if this might need a new if the balance is wiggly or not. And it is. So we have what we have here. As you can see, the balance is broken. It's wiggly, so what we've got here is a bad case of broken pivot, upper pivot on the balance. I'm looking at the hairspring, and the hairspring seems to have a little bit of a turn on it as well as you go around. Let's see if I can get a close-up of that hairspring. Somebody else noted that, and you can see as it gets sort of over here, it looks like it's bent a bit or something, right? Some crazy stuff going on there with the hairspring. So I'll have to have a look at that. But that's, whatever. That can cause problems. I'll want to take the power down on the watch, and I really need to know how to set this watch, right? So, but the first thing I do with any pocket watch that I'm going to repair is I take the balance off. Just get rid of it so I can get it out of the way. Now, the gentleman who owns the watch wrote me and told me that he dropped it. So he had it serviced twice, and then he dropped it, and that, my friends, is how the hairspring or the pivot for the balance staff broke. So I'm going to have to acquire another balance staff. I shouldn't have to make one. I might be able to acquire one because this is an old watch. I think it's from 1911 when I looked this watch up. And I will wear gloves later on after I wash this and reassemble it. So anybody who's freaking out right now and saying, JD, where are your gloves? They're not on. But I will put them on later, okay? So don't yell at me yet. So just grab this balance and get it out of here. And I can see whether it's the upper or lower pivot that's broken. But it's likely the upper pivot. Let me have a look here. Yeah, the upper pivot is toast, and the lower pivot looks like it's also toast. And yeah, and when you have broken pivots like that, what you need to do is check the jewels to make sure the pivots aren't still in the jewel settings, because sometimes they just stay in the jewel setting. So let me just lay this down in the watch, the container here. So I'm just going to rest this like that. Put this down in the container, nice and easy, and try not to break anything. And what I also want to do is check and see if there's power transfer in the watch. And so to do that, I need to actually just tap the pallet fork a bit and see if that moves it. I'm going to very carefully just take the outer horn of the pallet fork and move it, and see if that, and there we go, it just snapped to the other side. So there is power remaining in this watch. So I want to get the power off of this watch. We do that again in case you missed it. There we go. So that the watch does have power going through the train, and if I look at that bottom jewel, the base of that bottom jewel, I can see the pivot in there. So there's still a pivot sticking in that jewel which needs to be removed. It's a gorgeous movement though. So it's I'm not sure why this, no, maybe not, I do know why. So anyway, what am I talking about? Gorgeous, gorgeous movement. I need to remove the watch from the case, right? So I want to get rid of this. I want to get myself in here and get the case open from the front, because I'm really curious how you set this watch. All right, I managed to edge my case opener in there without a problem. There was enough of a gap. And there's the upper crystal. And yes, folks, this is lever set. So that it is lever set. There's a lever on the side, and as you can see, there's a crack right here on the face, right there. It's a porcelain face, and there's a crack right there. That's sad that there is a crack there, but that's life, right? So it also looks like there's a chip right on the edge where this goes in, and I'm not sure how that chip would have happened, other than I'm thinking somebody tried to open this case and it slipped. and then this chip happened. So, and there's another crack on the watch. Let me look at this watch right there, and that I think is it. So when you turn that, you can now set the watch, which is great. So I'm going to put that back in with my thumb like that. There we go. And now it's in winding mode, and it's pretty obvious that it won't wind, but let me take the hands off the watch. How's that sound? Let's just remove those hands to get them out of the way, because you don't want the hands to be damaged. I can just rest that down on my mat, or I'll just, because it's such a special watch, I'm going to grab my Bergeron gel, I'm telling you, my gel-filled 5395 holder. That is gorgeous on that holder. Actually, it looks really good. I may have to take a photo of this because it's just so expressive. It's killing me, right? So let me just take a photo of this thing. It's kind of cool. Click. There's the photo, and yes, I'm still on camera. So what I want to do here is line up the hands. I'm going to line these hands up, and I can turn them backwards. So I can use my hand removers and pop these hands off, right? And these are very wide-ended hand removers, so they distribute the weight across the crystal, which is a fine thing to do. And then I can put this little piece of plastic on top like that, and then go down the center like this, and get the hand removers down underneath the hands. I can use the edge of them too, by the way, because I do that sometimes like that, and then just push up like this. So that'll very simply remove the hands. And then I've got small hand removers, which are these here, and I use these to get the seconds hand out. And it's important when you remove the seconds hand that you go straight up, because there's a pivot right underneath that, the fourth wheel pivot. And you don't want that fourth wheel pivot to be agitated at all. So you just rotate both hand things up. And there you go. And that's now out. And I'll put the hands, pick them up and put them in the watch tray where they're safe. And oot of the way. Oot, I tell you. So there we go. The hands are now out of the way. And now I can commence to remove the movement from the watch, which is not too hard to do. This is something that needs to be done. So let's remove the movement. So this should be a pretty easy job. I'm going to just take out the screws here. This one is actually loose, so the last watch maker didn't tighten that up properly. So to the owner of the watch, you had a crappy last watchmaker because he never tightened that screw up, and that's not good. And then this screw here, is it loose as well? No, that's okay. That was a little bit, wasn't snug enough, but it was okay. So you turn these screws until you hear the tick, and that means you're at the end of the thread. And now the watch, usually you have to pull out on the stem to get some room for the movement to come out. So I'll just pull out like that, and then I'll be able to just back this movement out like this. So we just wiggle the stem and crown a bit, and there we go. So there's the case, front and back. Anything special about the case? I don't think so. So this is a salesman's case, so the salesman would be able to show the potential owner of this watch the beautiful movement. So I think that I should try to see if I can remember what the front and back were. Right? So this part, I believe, was the back, and this was the front. So I could put a little piece of Rodico on the front. That way I can remember. Otherwise, I mixed them up and maybe they don't fit as well or something, right? So let me just put a piece of Rodico on here, and that'll be my marker to mark that was the front. I'm assuming that was the front. Let me have a look here again. This one looks a little tarnished. And yeah, let me look at the other one. It would be nice if it just said front and back, but anyway, that's good there. So I'm going to put that in like that. So the one with the gummy bear in the middle is the front, okay? Just for me to remember that. And now I've got this out. There's no dust cover on this movement. If I pick this up carefully on the side, just show you what it looks like. There it is, and this is a full plate movement, which are pretty big pain in the butt usually, but I'm not going to complain too much today because it is a gorgeous movement. So shouldn't be whining when you have the opportunity to repair something so pretty. So I'm going to take off the watch face. I'm not sure if I need to wash this movement or not, but one problem I do have is that I may have to disassemble it anyway because the pivot, the lower balance staff pivot is stuck in the jewel down below. So I'd have to be able to dip in and remove it with Rodico. So I might get away with not having to wash the movement because the gentleman said it had already been cleaned. There is a screw missing here. So one of the face screws is missing on the side. I cannot see it, so that screw is missing. So the previous watchmaker put the face back on and did not put the screw back in. So there's some more incompetence. Just saying. So let me see if I can utilize my thumbnail here to get this thing up. Usually what I do here is I just put in my screwdriver here and then twist it. It seems to be a little tough to come up. What is making this stick? Let me just get this one. Sometimes you play rock and roll with these watch faces. You move one up and the other one goes down. It goes down, up on one side and down on the other, and up on one side and down on the other. So I call that rock and roll. I don't know if it's called anything. So this face, let me see here. Yeah, it wants to, I need to relieve it from this side here, right here where the screw is here. And I know the screw is not really causing any pressure, but the legs can be misaligned. So there we go. So it's got all dial feet are all there, which is nice. So those are the dial feet. So I can put this dial into the watch. What I'll do with the dial, usually I put that into the case. And then on the case, I just put one of the watch faces on top of that dial, like that. So I have it kind of in the case, and then like this. So it keeps it from harm, but I don't have to worry about it being in the bin that I have for this watch. So we have a dial washer on top. Thank goodness, that's nice. I may replace that. It looks kind of a bit. It looks pretty friggin' mangled. So whoever did the repair on this watch used an older and crappier dial washer. So I'm just criticizing the last repair person. And then if I pull up the hour wheel, that seems to be okay. But when I look down here, I can see very easily that the cannon pinion doesn't seem to be all the way down. That is really weird. So I'm not sure what that's all about, but if you look at the gears on the top, the hour wheel is up pretty darn high, and the cannon pinion is not all the way down. So when I didn't do that, it was just sitting up high. So that was a shitty reassembly by the last watchmaker, right? Which means he never put the cannon pinion down properly. He just put it together and ran. So here's the cannon pinion. I was able to pull that straight up, which is nice. And then I always take off the minute wheel too, just to get it out of the way, so it's no trouble whatsoever. And I'm going to check these screws right here to see if they move at all. No, that one's not moving. That one's not moving. So good, that's not upsetting me. So, but I still have to get the pivot out of this watch. I can actually see the pivot from the top. When I look down the top here, I can actually see the pivot, the leftover pivot. So I could undo the jewel here, the jewel setting here, and just push the pivot through. I don't know whether I've got to wash this watch, but I got to check under my microscope. You always got to watch out for the fourth wheel pivot on the top here, because that's where the seconds hand goes. And if I look inside here, and I'm just looking inside the watch to see if there's any issues at all. Any leftover parts that the Maritimes would call them buddy, right? So any leftover parts that Buddy forgot to put back in. And doesn't seem to be. It seems to be okay. So that's not too bad. So I'll leave it in this condition. I'm going to put it in a movement holder because I don't want this thing floating around. I'm going to have to take off this jewel setting though. So it would be nice if I take that off, if I can get inside there and grab that pivot. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do that I'm going to look under the microscope and see what's going on there. But for now, I'll just leave it like this. And the job really is to strip down the balance and I got to strip the balance down and remove the hairspring and remove the double roller, safety roller table on it. And then I've got to find myself a balance staff. So I've got a source that I go to a lot for balance staff. So I'll get a hold of that source and make sure we're good. So all's good that ends good, I think, something like that. I probably will be able to put this inside the case here, but I'm going to move a few things around first. No, it's good like that. And I just want to make sure the balance is out of the way. So I can put this inside here. Let me see if there's room for it. Not if I've got this regulation arm in the way. So I want to move that regulation arm if I can. And what I can do now is actually see if I can remove the balance before I remove the regulation arm. So I'll just see if I can move this out of the way for now. Nope, doesn't want to move. Yeah, it just has to, yeah, you know what? There's also a pivot. I can see it, the pivot on the top. So if you look in the very top of the jewel there, you should be able to see the pivot that's on the top. And let me see if I can turn the light on here of this camera, and that might give us a better look here at the pivot. The light is on, and I'm going to see if I can focus on this thing. And there we go. And if I look down there, when you look down there, I believe I can see the pivot sticking in the top there. Yeah, there's absolutely. Is there a pivot there? Oh. Anyway, that's microscope work. I got to look under the microscope. But for now, I want to make sure this is resting and it's not going to get in the way of anything, right? So I'll put that down here again, nice and easy, like that. So it's kind of out of the way, and then I could put the watch, the movement itself, inside here. Again, nice and easy and out of the way, and I can put the top on like that. And there we go, folks, done. So that's that. I'll put aside for now, and I need to strip the balance. I need to get rid of the I need to get the roller table off, the hairspring off, strip it down to nothing. I need to take the balance staff out of the balance so I can do that, and I'll do all that function. I'll make a separate video to do that, to show how to do that. So that's it. So I'm JD. Thanks for watching my channel. It's pretty late right now, and I think I need to go to bed. So bye-bye.